Hi, welcome to another episode of Justlivin Designs podcast. My name is Shannon, Justlivin Designs, and this is my little area on the YouTube world that I come to share about my makes, my knitting, mostly knitting, and my designs when I have any and anything like that. So let's get into this. Today is a day later than I usually podcast because you might hear I have a little bit of a cold. It is Friday, March 8th, about 10:45 in the morning. It is, like I said, a little bit later than usual because my whole family, a couple members of the family were sick for the last couple of weeks, and then finally this last weekend, my son and I both got it too. Just a head cold. It really hit me hard though. Tuesday I couldn't really get out of bed, and I just kind of laid in bed and watched TV all day because I couldn't even knit or read because my sinuses hurt too much. But yeah, I'm a lot better. I have energy now. I can do stuff. It's just, you can hear it in my throat. So I'm sorry if that bothers you, but I wanted to get on and show you guys some stuff because it is 2 weeks later and I wanted to kind of keep on track with my podcast. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for everybody that's been subscribing and liking and watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. So we'll get into things. What I'm wearing today, the only knitting I'm wearing are my socks. But I am sporting one of my new shirts that I showed last time. This is the Knit at Night t-shirt from Shelly Can. I'll stand up a little bit. Fall down. And I'm actually rocking it with an old Shelly Can hoodie from the Cozy Craft Corner. It has more on the back. I don't think she has this sign anymore. But this is like I'm sick, runny nose. I needed something with pockets. I do have some sweaters that have pockets, but this is just easier to wash. So yeah, been wearing this most of the week. Let's see. Yeah, and like I said, the only thing I'm really wearing are my socks. I don't know how well I can show you my socks. But these are one of my designs, Bourbon and Bark. I did it with Madeline Tosh. They had this thing last year or 2 years ago, a designer, can't remember, designer studio or something like that, where they sent me the yarn. This was something with bourbon in the name of the yarn, but it was Madeline Tosh's Twist Light, which is more of a regular sock yarn. And I knit this in cables. I'll link the pattern down below, but you can see all the intricate cables I did with it because the bark part of it, I was going off of our poplar trees and they have very thick intertwining bark parts. So that's what I designed that for. So mentioning linking below, I will link everything that I talk about down below as well. Any shops and patterns and like project pages for my projects or other things like that. I will have linked down below. All right, let's get into some finished objects. I'm going to do my smaller finished object. I have 2 this week. Do my smaller one first, and then I will talk about my bigger finished object. So this one is my let's see, what did I call them? February socks? No, this was a Frozen Farmer socks from I had bought it this year, so this is a newer acquisition from this year. So it's not stash yarn. Sat in the stash for a couple of weeks. But these are finished. They are, the yarn is Kirby Werby. I did bring up the tag here. And it is on her sparkle base. And it's Frozen Farmer's Hiney. I think I talked about this last time, but the colorway is because when you hear in Frozen the opening scene where the guys are mining the ice, they sing a song and it kind of sounds like they say Frozen Farmer's Hiney. So, and I think her daughter thought that that's what they said or something like that. And so that's what this colorway is. It's really pretty. My daughter loves purple and she loves sparkly socks, and you can see it better in the purple, I think, than in the self-striping, but everything is sparkle base. And yeah, I just did a toe-up sock with 3x1 rib and a 1x1 at the cuff, and I cut in an afterthought heel. I do have a tutorial on how to cut in an afterthought heel on this channel. You can find it in my tutorials playlist, or just look at the videos on the channel. But yeah, I love to put the self-striping in the afterthought heel. So when I did this, I did have a little bit of yarn management because I knit one sock toe up and stopped. And then I think I went right into the heel. I just got out to the beginning of the blue. That was the next color after that gray, like there. And it ended with this blue. And then I just had to pull out the rest of that blue and these 3 colors to start the next sock down at the light pink. So I didn't have to do like too much yarn management, but I did have a little bit. And now that I've showed you guys, she gets to wear these and she'll be happy. My next finished object, I will have to do a little magic. Surprise! Here's my husband Douglas, and I finished his sweater. This is the Bibliophile 3. Let's see. I knit this size, the third size. It's 44 inch, and your chest is about 42 inch, I think. So it has about 2 inches of positive ease. Actually has more just because of blocking than what I actually had. I've been knitting on it for like 2 months, so you guys have seen this many times as a work in progress. Now it's a finished object.
Finally done.
Finally done. Knit with Harrisville Designs Nightshades in Insomnia colorway. This colorway it's black yarn that has a little bit of, spun with just a little bit, a hint of color. And this one is the marble, or it's a green, it's the mossy green color, not the brighter green. They also have another type of yarn that's daylights, that's the same with a white yarn, and then just the lightest color to it. So it looks like a black sweater, but then when you get up close, you can kind of see the hints of the green in there.
And it really pops when it's in the natural sunlight.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is really nice. And I did, like I said, I will link the project page below for my modifications, but I did just a straight 1x1 rib collar that I folded over. And I like actually how this collar fits you. Do you like how it fits you?
Yep, it's snug.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's not super wide, so you don't really see your t-shirt under it at all. But it's not, I don't think it's too far up on your neck either. So I really like it. And I think one of the things that helps with this design is it was one that was knit flat to make the raised back first, and then you join it in the round. And I've done that in the past on sweaters rather than adding short rows. I think it brought it up even further. Maybe if people had more short rows in it, it would bring it up better, but I really like how this is fitting on you. So I think I might actually use this pattern again for another sweater for you at some point, because it's a nice, simple knit, fits very well. Raglan, top-down raglan, I tried it on as we went. I had to put it back on the needles, I think I told you guys about, because I always think, oh, it's long enough, and then I always have to add like an inch because he's got kind of broad shoulders, which means that his yoke depth is just a little bit deeper because of those broad shoulders. And then I talk about this in the project page, but I changed the sequence on the sleeve decreases just because I do my own thing. And the body, I knitted as far as he wanted it, and it's quite long. Goes down below your hip bones. Yeah. Because he wanted it nice and long. It doesn't ride up so much on your back, I think. I'm learning how to make him sweaters, which is nice. You know, it takes practice to knit ourselves sweaters, and you know what? It takes practice to knit them for somebody else. The sleeves, like I said, they're tapered, but they're not too skinny. It's more of a sweatshirt style, I'd say. There's room in there, so like a t-shirt fits nice under it. It doesn't bind up at all.
Right.
And I did like a Italian sewn tubular bind off for the cuffs and the hem. And yeah, I think I really like it.
So do I.
I want a sweater out of this yarn. I originally bought it for a sweater for me, but then it sat and stashed forever. And then I was like, Doug wears black all the time.
I think I remember picking this one out too, this color.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I should make him a black sweater. Because most of your t-shirts are black. So I usually see them in black. And I think it, looks really good with your blue eyes too, because they shine when you're wearing darker colors. But yeah, I think it's really good. They have other colors in it. I mean, I probably wouldn't make you another sweater in it just because I think one black sweater, but I could have a black sweater in it. And it wasn't that big of a deal to knit on it while I was doing the shaping of the yoke and stuff, the complicated things. I did it in the daytime. But when I was just knitting in the round, I could do it at night because dark yarn's hard on your eyes and it's harder to see. But for the most part, this is just a simple stockinette sweater, so it wasn't that bad. So if I knit with this type of yarn again, I would probably make it be a simple stockinette sweater and not make it so bad because I don't know. Since it's so dark, I don't know how well it would show off a lot of texture or anything anyways, but it would be hard on your eyes to have to pay attention all the time. I think that's about it. And you like it?
Yes.
Is it the best sweater I've knit you so far?
So far, yes.
Yeah, I think it's even better than the last one I made you on the fit. So, like I said, I'm learning. Takes time, takes practice.
It's all good. I like it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me for this little pop-in.
Yep.
All right.
Glad to be here.
All right.
All right. See you.
Go away. Bye. And we're back. All right. So that's all my finished objects from the last 2 weeks, and I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. Now I have some whips. Let's see. One whip I have shown you before, and then the other two are newer cast-ons from this last 2 weeks. So I'll start with the one that I've shown you guys before, and this is the Talkeetna from Caitlin Hunter. And right now I am just working on the body, so it hasn't changed a ton. It's just plain stockinette on small needles with fingering weight yarn, so it takes a while. I was where that marker is when I showed you last time, so I've added about maybe like 3 to 4 inches to the body, which is pretty good when you think about the finished objects I finished and then other things I've started and stuff. But this is a good knitting while I'm reading or watching TV or something like that, because I don't have to watch what I'm doing. I am going to make this sweater a little bit longer than what the pattern calls for in the body, just because I prefer a longer bodied, and I might actually add some short rows before the hem. I haven't decided yet. I kind of like how it kind of scoops down for these sometimes. Kind of like her Sunset Highway design, which I love to wear, and I've been wearing it more often lately because it's been warmer out and it's a fingering weight sweater. So maybe I'll kind of mimic that. I'm not 100% sure, like I said before, if I'm going to do the color work on the sleeves. We'll just see how I feel when I get there. But yeah, so this is just made with Bichet Bouche, Le Petit Lamb's wool, and a multitude of colors. I will link the pattern page down below so you can see all these colors, or the project page, not the pattern page, but the project page, so you can see all the colors I'm using. Yeah, but I really love it. It's going to be a nice warm, but yet not overly warm, because this is a very fine wool. And that one is in the same bag it was last time. It is my older Rain Works project bag. I do have a tag in here. I don't know if I ever show you guys the tags. But they, like, I don't know if they still number their bags, but they used to when they first made them. And this one's like a really tall bucket, and it has one pocket in it. And they use like a oilskin canvas, and they're out of Montana, and then they use a bison hide for the handles and leather work generally. Yeah. All right. My next cast on, I started my DK weight jelly roll blanket. And I've actually gotten a fair amount done on it just because it goes a lot faster than the fingering weight one. And this one's, I'm knitting it to a longer specs than my other one. So this one is taller than my husband. I held it up to him and he's about 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in there. So it's taller, it's more than 6 feet tall. Put it that way. So, and it's floppy but this one I'm just using DK weight scraps. And I know she just, this Patterns Jelly Roll by Kay Jones, I know she just added a update to the pattern for DK weight or fingering held double, because a lot of people have been doing that with their Jelly Roll patterns. I did not follow her recommendations for, I don't know if I followed her recommendation for needle size or not, but I'm using US size 5, which is what, 3.75 needles, and then I cast on, I think, 18 stitches because I wanted it about the same length as my fingering weight for the stripes. And my fingering weight one, I cast on 4 more stitches than the pattern called for. So this one I cast on a few more stitches than what she recommended, I think. And I think I actually started this before she put that recommendation out. I can't remember. Or it was right about that same time when she updated the pattern. But the reason I started this is because, one, I've been collecting I'm just using superwash DK weight scraps. Here's my bin full of what I've got, and a lot of these scraps, some of these are actually my daughter's scraps from projects she's done. Like this is a sparkle yarn that she used, so I'll have sparkle in there, I'll have tweed in there, but a lot of them are a lot more than I would want in one strip. Like they might be like 30-40 grams left over. And so what I'm doing is, if I have already used the color once, I have this extra little bag in here that I'm like throwing whatever's left in this bag of whatever I've used. Some are just a little bit, some are still quite a big amount, because I'll use them again. This one, like my fingering weight one, I used every scrap just once because I have a lot of fingering weight scraps. Whereas my DK weight one, I don't use as much superwash DK. And especially not anymore. I do for socks and stuff still, but I don't use it as much for like sweaters or other things like that where I'd have a lot. I might for hats every once in a while, especially if they're going to be gift knits. But I like to use superwash for my blankets because I have dogs and kids. So I need to be able to wash things easier than having to hand wash. I use still like the gentle cycle on my machine, and I generally won't dry it. I'll lay it out to dry, like on a bed or something. But this is, yeah. So I will repeat colors as I go. But this one, like I said, is going to be bigger than my last one. So it will be a good couch blanket for maybe 2 people to sit under, or at least big enough for my husband to use, because mine that I have currently is good for like me and my kids' sizes, but not quite as big for him. But yeah, I'm really liking it. And the reason I cast this on when I did, I think I started saying this, but I didn't finish. My local yarn shop, the Yarn Bar, is starting a scrap along, and that's one of the 2 patterns that they're promoting for that. I think the other pattern was the Sweet Shop blanket that does the triangles and then squares. And they had me on their podcast, not this week, but last week, talking about the Sockies, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then also about the scrap along, because I had finished my DK weight, fingering weight, and they wanted to show it off. And so I was like, I want to start my next one. And so with their scrap along, I will link it down below on their website, but they have, this is more for in-town people, local people, but they will have dates. I think the first one's March 19th, and that's when the scrap along officially is starting, where you can bring in your fingering weight and DK weight yarn, shop quality yarns, scraps, and then leave them there for people to take if you don't want any of those ones, and you can take other people's and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a scrap exchange. So that should be fun. I'll probably take in some because I have so much fingering weight scraps that I don't need that much. I'll be making fingering weight blankets forever if I use all my scraps. Yeah, and so, like I said, I'll link down below what they got going on, but I think it's going all the way through the fall or maybe winter. I don't know how long they're running it, but they're starting it like the first day of spring, I think, or right around that time. All right, and then my next whip is a new cast on from this morning. And it is my March socks. So I finished my February socks, which were the ones that I made. Did I show them last time? I think I might have shown them last time as a finished object. Yeah, I showed them last time as my finished object. It was the Christmassy colorway that I had from Murray Wool Goods. And then after I finished those, I cast on my daughter's socks because it wasn't time for March yet. And then once I finished her socks that I just showed you, I cast on my February. So I have that, we've talked about it every beginning of the month, basically, where I have I put scrap yarn in paper bags, and I'm like making my own little like mini drawing for sock yarn. And this is the color that I pulled out this month, and it is from Skein Cocaine, and it is on her hot sock, and it's the colorway The Special. I don't think she dyes it very often anymore. It is quite a production to dye, because I think she said something like it's 30 colors. And I want to say that this ball was a second, not like up to her quality. And I think it's because there's some white bits in there, and I don't think they're supposed to be white. But you can just see all the colors of that yarn. It's crazy. And so I'm not doing any sort of texture or pattern on this. I am just knitting my top-down trusty sock design. So I have ribbing, 2x2 ribbing for 20 rounds, and then I just started knitting the leg, and it's just going to be straight stockinette and then heel flap and gusset. So yeah, this will be good for reading as well, which reminds me, I am participating in the I Love Books and Sock Knitting Cal from Earth Tones Girl Denise, because I do love books and socks and knitting socks. So this is my second pair. My first pair, because she let whips and current reads come into play, and so I finished one book and one pair of socks already during that knit along. It started at the beginning of March, I think goes to the end of May. She's running it on Ravelry, I think, as well as using the Instagram hashtag. And so yeah, you just knit books or read books and knit socks, and that's essentially it. And so that was my newer cast on. I also promoted on my Instagram some of my sock designs that are like book themed. I have my bookish socks, which kind of looks like, maybe I'll put pictures up here if I remember. The bookish socks look like books in a bookcase. And then I have the book nook, which I designed, the colorway name was named Nook, and I just was thinking book nook because that's the nook I think about. And so I named them book nook socks, and then I just, this last fall, I released the book nook DK. So those are my book themed socks. But yeah, I'll at least link the patterns down below so you guys can see them if I don't remember to put pictures in. All right. I think that's all for my whips. Next, I'm going to talk about a few acquisitions, and then some upcoming events I have going on, and reading and watching. And maybe a little life stuff. We'll see. Most of my life stuff is just me being sick. So acquisitions. I ordered a few things from Twice Sheared Sheep. They are I think they're only online yarn shop, and the reason I wanted, they have a lot of notions, and the reason I wanted to order from them is because I wanted one of these sock rulers that is maybe a slap bracelet type sock ruler. I have a wooden one, Catrinkles type sock ruler that I love, and it's great, but this is one that will fit in a project bag really nice and well. And so it has shoe sizes on one side and an actual ruler on the other side. So yeah, I wanted that for when I'm traveling and knitting socks, and because I know the dimensions I need to knit things to, and that's just easier. I also got, oh, here it is. I got 2 of their tins. These are the large tins. This one already has stuff in it. This one, so I'll show this one. They both slide open like that. This one I'm going to give to my daughter. She really liked the sunflower one. So, and she knits and can always use a little notion tin too. And then this one's a little sheepy guy. This tongue sticking out. And this one I added, so I got their, I'm going to kind of see here, I got their divider pack for the large tin, which is kind of nice. You can divide things into 4 or just 2. You can just use one of them and go across. And I also got from them these stitch markers that are like the infinity type stitch markers. And so I added all of my ring stitch markers in here. So I have those ones. I have all my other rings. I have my smaller rings that I like for smaller projects. And then I have my large rings for larger projects, where they're on larger needles and stuff. So I really am liking that with the divider. They don't, sorry for the noise, they don't go anywhere. It's really nice. And then I also bought another set of tried-on tubing of their kind. It's cheaper and a little bit different. They have different sizes. I got the medium size, and it is 60-inch, one that's 60-inch, and then 2 I think that are 30. They have 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. It's different than the barber cords material, it feels. And like I said, this one's a bit thicker than the other ones I have, so it will be really nice for like my bigger needles when I'm making sweaters with bigger needles, because I feel like the barber cord ones are great for the smaller needle projects, but I feel like I've already split the ends of those barber cord ones, and I've had to snip them off a couple of times. And so hopefully this will help with my bigger needles when I'm sliding things over. And then that pouch that my son gave me for Christmas, I'm using that to store these cords in, because they just come in a like zipper pouch, or not even a zipper pouch, I think, just a clear plastic bag thing. So they don't have storage with them. Originally I had them stored in this, but then my daughter really liked it, so I was like, okay, I'll just throw them in here because I don't have anything in there yet. And it all worked out for the best. Then also I ordered from Moonglow Yarn Co. They had, I don't want to show you the design yet. They had an update with their, what was it called? The Mountain Meadow update. It's like a re-release of something she did before, but this time she added with DK weight sock set. So it came with a full 100-gram skein of her cottonwood colorway. And then all 6 other colors from that set are 20-gram DK weight minis. And so I am designing a sock design with these, and I'm not going to show you that right now. I just started it yesterday and I finished the first sock because DK weight socks don't take any time at all. And then I have more yarn coming in the mail to make another version of that design too. So, that's that. And then put that there. And then I also went to my yarn shop, the Yarn Bar, had a sale on Leap Day. And so I went in for the sale where they had everything in the shop was 10% off, and then some of the things were 29% off for being Leap Day. And so the things that I got that were just the 10% off, I got another one of these. This is one of the ones from Firefly Notes where it's the enamel coated. It's just really pretty, and I love, it's got the crow that says shiny things because they love shiny things. And it's, yeah, it's just another one of these. And I might use this for point protectors, my stitch stopper things, or something like that. I haven't quite decided yet, but I have it. And then I got a nice skein of DK weight yarn that either me or my daughter would use. We both kind of gravitate towards these colors. I really like the brown specks in this. But this is from Polka Dot Sheep. They are Montana maker and yarn shop up in Whitefish. They dye this, and this is her Stump Down DK and Single Track, I believe is the name of the colorway. And then I got my daughter some yarns. So these aren't technically added to my stash. They're going into hers. But I got some, she knits a lot of the dishcloths for everybody for presents and stuff. So I got her some of the coastal cottons, a teal and a purple. And then I'm planning to design a hat at some point, and I was going to have her test knit it. So I got some camper and 2 purples, because again, she likes purple. And I'll have her test knit that once I get the design done, because it's nice when she can help test knit some stuff too. All right, and that's all I have for my acquisitions. Now, some upcoming events. I have April 6th at the Yarn Bar from 12 to 4 p.m. I am teaching a tutorial type class on how to put in afterthought heels and toes into a sock tube. They recently had a local knitter that has a sock machine make up some sock tubes out of their yarns, and then they're selling the sock tubes, and they have a thing going on right now called the Sockies, and so this will kind of happen at the end of the Sockies season. And so yeah, I have on the video that I was with them, they have the sample at the shop of I did one sock out of a sock tube, and the second one I'll show people in the class how to do it. Yeah, and then I am also participating, well, I was a participating designer in their Sockies awards for this year. They do, I think this is 3rd year they've done it. They have different things throughout the year where they, like, everybody knits a t-shirt, or everybody knits a sweater, or everyone knits a vest or a hat. And the Sockies is, they have all these things like award season, so it's because of the Oscars and everything else. That's why they have all these things as Sockies. And this one is started on March 1st and it goes through April 12th, I think. And I designed a pattern that people that sign up for it get the pattern when they sign up. And then I think it's $15 to sign up. You get the pattern, which is a downloadable coupon code from Ravelry to get the free pattern. And then you get entered into the Sockies, and that is just knit a pair of socks in one of the categories that they have by the 12th. And then you're entered into the contest, and people pick the winners and stuff. And then they also are having like some free tutorials in around lunchtime a few days out of the week for people, like Kitchener Stitch and other things like that. And then they're also doing like a buy one, get one 50% off on certain sock yarns every week through the Sockies for people. So yeah, it's fun. And the design I made, I will try to put a picture up here, is the cocktail hour socks. It has martinis, glasses running down the outside of the socks, and right now it is only exclusive to Yarn Bar. Once the Sockies are all done and finished, I will probably be offering it for everybody on Ravelry, and I'll have the sample at home. Right now the sample is at the Yarn Bar. So yeah, you guys, if you join in on the Sockies, you can totally get that pattern right now. Okay, so that's all for my upcoming events that I have going on, or current events, and then I'll do some reading and watching. Reading, I have really been reading a lot. It seems like it helps when the books aren't as big and they're like an easier read than some of my other ones, where it doesn't like take as much brain power. So I finished Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I really did enjoy this. It took a while for me to get into it, but once I did, it was hard to put down. I still need to buy the other books in the series because I know my son and my daughter for sure would like to read this, and maybe my husband. So I need to buy the other copies in that series. And then when I finished that, I started reading one of the books that I bought. That was an acquisition last time. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and I just finished this the other day. This was the first of I love to read, I love books and knitting socks, Cal. This was my first book and socks for that. And so I finished this. I really did enjoy it. It was not a thriller. There was some suspense, I would say. I think it was a bit predictable to a point. It wasn't 100% predictable, and but I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a good book, so I might read more of hers. And then I'm still reading or listening to on Audible The Wizard's Butler by Nathan Lowell. I am about 50% done with that. I don't listen to it generally even when I'm knitting. I usually just do it when I'm doing housework, and that's when I remember to put on my headphones and listen to it. Sometimes I just do housework and don't even think about it. Or if I'm downstairs where our nice stereo is with the record player, I might just listen to records while I'm doing housework, which I have to do today because we got a new storage. It's like a sideboard for behind our couch in our living room. And our living room, we have a family room and a living room. The living room is kind of connected to it. It's like a grand room of the kitchen and dining room. And so on the opposite side of the couch, we have that sideboard, and then it's kind of the kitchen area. And so I'm going to put our board games in that sideboard. And then I have an old hutch from my grandma that's kind of over by my desk that right now houses the board games. And I would like to have some yarn and projects and knitting books and stuff in that hutch, because that's kind of where I'm at now. And then the bookcase that I used to have yarn and stuff on, which is over by the dining room table, I am going to use more as a kitchen storage space with like kitchen cookbooks and maybe some other stuff like that we don't get out very often or that are heavy, like our big cast iron pots and stuff I might put on there. Anyways, I got reorganizing to do later today. And then I started reading The Teacher. This is the other book that I bought last time by Freida McFadden. I am already like on page 86 or 87. I haven't enjoyed it a lot. When I get tired of knitting, if I'm watching something in knitting and I get tired of knitting, I'll just go sit on a chair and read. I've been trying to get back into the habit of reading for at least a half an hour at night before I go to bed. So, and again, like I said, this is a really quick read, so I'll get through it probably before next time. And then I would like to get some more of those Red Rising books so I can get into that series more so my son can start reading it. All right, watching. I was watching the Gilmore Girls. I kind of stopped. Just not in the mood right now. My family, we watched the first Dune because we're wanting to see Dune 2, Dune Part 2. And I don't know if we'll go this weekend. It just depends on how sick I am still. I don't want to be like coughing or blowing my nose a ton in a movie theater. So we'll just see how I'm doing. But yeah, we all want to go see that together. And then my husband and I don't remember what streaming service it was, but one of the streaming services recently released Everything Everywhere All at Once. And my husband and I watched that, and that, I will say, is the craziest, weirdest movie I think I've ever seen. And I've seen some weird ones. This one's the weirdest. And I enjoyed it. It was weird. And he enjoyed it as well. And then I started watching because Kevin and Ray on Needles at the Ready podcast were talking about it. And I've seen some episodes over the years, like randomly, especially back when I used to watch regular TV more, of Criminal Minds. And so I started watching that, and I'm on the first season of Criminal Minds. And when I was sick, I watched like that all day because I didn't feel good, like when I was in bed sick. All right, and then I was just going to go over a little bit of my stash in and out since this is the first podcast at the beginning of a month. I have my totals from last month. You know, I'm trying to use more stash, or at least more grams coming out of my stash than going into my stash. So at the end of the year, my hope is to have my stash hasn't grown. Last year, it still grew. This last month, I wasn't as good. I had 565 grams come in, and I had 344 grams go out. And I'm doing grams, and I do it once the project is done. So like my DK weight jelly roll, that is not counted until it's all the way done. That's why when I finished in January, one of the reasons I was so ahead in January is because I finished my fingering weight jelly roll, and that was 680 grams of yarn. The DK weight one will even be more grams because it's DK weight. And then like so far for March, if you're curious, since I already had a finished sweater and socks, I already have like over 500 grams out. And so far, I don't have anything in for March, but I think there's some things that are good. One thing might be coming today and another thing might be coming next week. So there's more coming in. But again, a lot of times I'm trying to buy yarn with either a project specific in mind, not just going, ooh, pretty, either a design project or another project, or I'm adding to yarn I already have to get some of the yarn out of stash to make it usable. So I'm trying to be more thoughtful about what's coming in. All right, I think that's about it. Like I said, there's not a lot of life stuff, and there's not, other than, you know, we have more time as a family. It's about the same as it has been, other than me being sick, which isn't that fun. But thanks for sticking around with me with my cold. I am drinking some tea with honey for my throat. And yeah, I'm getting better. It knocked me down pretty hard, but I think the key when you're sick is to rest and take it easy. And I really did. Like that day that I didn't feel good, I was just like, I'm just going to stay in bed. And my husband had to cook dinner that night, and I wasn't even really hungry all that day, so I didn't eat much. But yeah, you just need to rest, and then you will get better a lot faster. It's hard for us sometimes to stop. I do understand that. I hope you guys are all well and not sick. I hope you had a good 2 weeks, and I hope you have a good next 2 weeks. I hope to be back in 2 weeks on Thursday. I will try to get this out as soon as I can, get it all uploaded and everything. So it might come out here still on Friday or Saturday. It just depends. But yeah, I hope to see you guys again in 2 weeks, and thanks for joining me again, and you guys have a good day. Bye.